Okay, so in this new video, I'm going to show you how I create a video thumbnail using Google Slides. So already got one here, which is a HD, but I need Ultra HD. So go to Google, I've got a folder on Google Slides here. So I'm going to start with a blank presentation. Next thing I need to do is just scale this up. So I go to File, Page Setup, Custom, and then I want it in pixels. And so the size for that is YouTube video size pixels. Just having a quick Google search, 1920 by 1080. So let's go back to our form here. Okay. So let's just create a new slide. And the first thing I want to do is I'll just give this a thumbnail ID. So video thumbnail slides 1920 by 1280. So to make this actual document that size, we go to File, Page Setup. Wrong button. File, Page Setup, Custom. Change that to pixels. 1920 by 1080. Apply. So next thing I do is going to go to the theme builder. I'm going to get rid of all the craft things that I don't need. So let's just grab every one of these slides down here and delete. So slides consist of a theme and a layout. So the theme, we want to get rid of everything on there. So we've got a blank slide, and it's our starting point. The next part, we've got a heading and a subheading. I like to use those elements, so we'll come back to that in a second. But let's just build the base theme first. Now, I just happen to have one open on a different tab in my browser. So I'm just going to grab a couple of components here. The first thing is I love using this this image here on my themes. It's really striking. I can see I've also got a page number down here. I don't really want that, so I'll delete that as well. So I also often will just do snap to grid, make sure everything just snaps really elegantly to the corners of the page. So I'll just grab that and snap that to the grid. You can see that the only thing that's on there is this color image, which I've got from one of my image royalty-free sources. Next thing I need is I find that layer is a little bit too bright for the text, so I'm going to add a box over the top. And I'll show you how I've done this. I've got a box, but then I've turned off the border. So sorry, I've turned off the border, so that's transparent. And then the fill, I'm going to make it transparent. I'm going to make it a dark gray. So I'm just going to hit this one and select custom. And you can see that this last two digits is the transparency level. So if I adjust this up and down, you can see what it is. I'll just make the last two digits 80, so it's nice and even. And then I can just move this box in here now, and you can see that things underneath are a bit darker. So let's just bring that down to the edge, and now I've got a nice dark background. That means that the fonts will stand out on it. So I mentioned before that I want to have this heading here. Now, I love using Poppins, and I can also change Poppins as my font. I'm going to make it Poppins extra bold for the moment, and I'm going to make it a yellow font. So I'm going to pick probably this yellow here, and we're going to add some styling to this in a second. The next thing I want to do is make sure that it's aligned in the center. That's important. And I'm going to make it, we'll just have a crack at about 72 point. We've got everything else at 80, we'll make it 80. And then I'm going to make sure that this box is roughly where I want it. Let's put it down here for the moment. That's going to be my main heading. Now, my subheading, I'm using these are features out of Google Slides, and to find those, you go to the Insert menu, Placeholder, and we want to use either the title placeholder or subtitle placeholder. So again, I want this also to be Poppins, and I want it to be the same weight. So um, I might just go bold on this one, and I want this to be white. Actually, I might just flip those around. I might make the top line white and the second line yellow, that same yellow as I did before. And I want this subheading to be left aligned and once again in the center. Now, I'm going to pop those two down here. Make sure that they're aligned together. Now, unfortunately, I'm not sure why this happens, but when you're creating this placeholder for the title, it always includes a bullet point. You can't get rid of it. So there's my main this is my heading and this is my subheading now. I'm not sure if I want to I want to have the same size or not. So I might just go them both at 80 and we'll see how that looks. I think that looks okay. Now I'll bring them a little bit closer together, just using my keyboard to maneuver that. And they should be both the same width as well. So just extend this out a little bit, make sure that they're lined up. Yep. Make sure these are lined up again. I try really hard to be pixel perfect. So let's just double click those, make sure that we've got them both left aligned and center aligned. Now let's go back to our main page here. So I've now got a slide with a heading and a subheading. And they look okay so far. Now, when I'm doing my title blocks for videos, always make sure that I do these titles in um, title case. I think that looks okay. So that's sort of the general gist. Now, I might have a different version of this slide. So let's go back to the theme builder here, and I'm going to duplicate this layout. But this time I want to add a version of this slide with me in it. And so we'll go to this particular layout. So there's two layouts. So I'm going to rename this as standard thumbnail. Okay, and then I'm going to make this new one, and we'll call it the Russ thumbnail. And click OK. Now make sure I've selected that. Pop a photo of me. And this is a pretty high res photograph in here. I can manipulate this any way I like now. And I want to bring these forward, these layers. So now it looks a bit, oops. I want to bring these to the front. So I need to arrange them. So go to order and bring to the front. Now it's really hard to see this text over a white background. And so we can modify the layout a little bit here. And I probably should have done this earlier here. We'll do it now anyway. And then we'll copy the layouts back onto we'll copy this text over to the blank layout. So one of the things I like to do is click on Format Options and add a drop shadow. Now it's not immediately obvious here, but you can see it starting to pop out now. If you look around my shirt area, so what I'm doing is adjusting the blur radius and the transparency so that it kind of works for me. There's no science about this. Just do whatever you think works for you. I'll just just change that a little bit. So that fixed it up a little bit. Would like it maybe to just be a little bit more, maybe, and a little bit darker. Just change that angle just a fraction. You can do all sorts of things here. That seems to work for me. Let's have a look at it now. Now, if I wanted to change this layout, I can just go and pick the thumbnail that I want. I can't edit anything here, but I can change this part. So I think that's okay. It's not exactly what I want. I just noticed there's also a little bit of an artifact down the bottom here that is going to annoy me. So I'll go back to my theme builder, click on my image, and go to this crop image option. And I'm just going to make it so it aligns to the bottom of the page. It won't drive me insane then. I'm not sure if you're familiar with the rule of thirds, but I like to follow the rule of thirds. There's roughly a third, and there's another third around about here, maybe across a little bit. So I'm kind of using this rule of thirds on my layout a little bit. That's probably not obvious. Now to copy this here, I just shift and hold and click on each of the titles, and then do, I'm a Mac user, so it's Command C, and I'll just shift and click on these, just press delete, and then Command V to paste. So that's the process that I use for creating a template for thumbnails using Google Slides.